We are live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the October 29th meeting, special meeting of the East Hampton Town Board. Carol, would you please read the roll call?
Councilwoman Brett Gonzalez,
Present.
Councilman Lees,
Present.
Councilwoman Overby,
Here.
Councilman Bragman,
Here.
Supervisor Van Goya.
Present. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance
To the
to
flag
the
of the
flag
United States of
of
America,
America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight, we have a special meeting of the East Hampton Town Board, and this will be a discussion of the New York State Police Reform and Reinvention Collaborative, and we're in phase 2. Everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Esta noche tenemos una reunión especial del Consejo Municipal y vamos a hablar acerca de la reforma y reinvención de la Policía del Estado de Nueva York.
So each town in New York State must engage in collaborative assessment and reform process, engaging stakeholders from various community constituencies. This process is mandated by Governor Cuomo in light of national conversation about social justice and policing.
Cada municipalidad debe involucrarse entonces en reuniones establecidas para determinar un proceso colaborativo. Este proceso ha sido ordenado por el gobernador Cuomo para asegurarnos que tenemos una seguridad policial efectiva y equitativa.
The police reform process begins with an open public dialogue about our community's view of public safety and the function of police. Our goal is to ensure mutual trust and respect between police and our community, as well as effective and equitable policing.
El proceso de reforma policial comienza con la apertura de un diálogo público acerca de la opinión de nuestra comunidad acerca de la seguridad pública y la función de la policía. Nuestro propósito es asegurar confianza y respeto mutuo entre la policía y nuestra comunidad, así como una vigilancia policial eficaz y equitativa.
The collaborative process will include reviewing the needs of the community served by our police and evaluating the department's current policies and practices. Include the entire community in the discussion, develop policy recommendations resulting from this review, offer a plan for the public comment, and present a plan to the local legislative body to ratify or adopt it, and to certify the adoption to the plan to the state budget director before April 1st, 2021.
El proceso colaborativo va a incluir revisar las necesidades de la comunidad y de las que sirve nuestra policía y evaluar las políticas actuales de los departamentos y las prácticas. Incluye también a incluir a la comunidad completa en la discusión, desarrollar recomendaciones policiales resultando de esta revisión, ofrecer un plan para el comentario público, presentar el plan al cuerpo legislativo local para ratificarlo y añadirlo, y certificar una adopción del plan en el estado estatal del director en abril 1, 2021.
Phase 1 of the planning began in August of 2020 and will continue through this month. It started with creating an operations plan and coordinating with our neighboring localities. We have members of we have the chief of East Hampton Village here, Chief Mike Tracy. We also have Chief Austin McGuire from Sag Harbor. We have the mayor of Sag Harbor, Kathleen Mulcahy, tonight with us as well. So we're coordinating with our adjoining villages. The next step was to convene key stakeholders, members of the LGBTQ, anti-bias task force, disabilities, community, substance abuse, treatment reps, medical professional, clericus, faith representatives in the police, as well as other stakeholders within the community. And also to assess where we are now. Now, many of the police reform handbook recommendations are already being practiced in East Hampton and have been for some time. We've had a very robust community engagement and community policing program here. And so much of what's been recommended is already in place, but there's always room for improvement. Phase 2 is kicking off tonight.
Time to interpret that, please.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Getting ahead of myself.
La fase número 1, la planeación comenzó de agosto a octubre de 2020. Nosotros ya empezamos entonces en esa etapa, la etapa de creación de planes operacionales, la etapa de coordinar con las localidades, con las localidades vecinas. Por eso caso, en esto tenemos también al jefe de policía, Mike Tracy, tenemos también al jefe de policía de la Municipalidad de Sag Harbor, Austin McGuire, a la alcaldesa de Sag Harbor. La tercera parte es reunirnos con las personas interesadas. En ese caso tendríamos a los miembros de la comunidad LGBTQ, las personas que están con necesidades de tratamiento, representantes de comunidades marginales y marginadas. Después evaluar qué tipo de planes que están siendo implementados. En la municipalidad de East Hampton ya han sido implementados bastantes de esos planes desde un comienzo. Okay.
So phase 2 is the listening and learning aspect, and that begins tonight, where we have a listening session. We'll have an open discussion to identify areas of need and concern and solicit the community's view of the role of police. So we'll be asking callers to call in and give their comments. We'll also have a website location where you can send emails. I'll show that later.
La fase 2 consiste en escuchar y aprender. Eso es de octubre a noviembre del 2020. Estamos entonces, que esto comienza en este momento con una sesión de escuchas. Vamos a tener entonces una discusión abierta en que van a haber oportunidades para llamadas, para que se pueda discutir acerca de las áreas de necesidad y preocupación de la comunidad. Vamos a solicitarle a la comunidad que nos explique cuál es el punto de vista del papel de la policía, según ellos. Vamos a tener llamadas y también un website en donde pueden comunicarse y encontrar la información necesaria.
Phase 3 is drafting of the plan. We'll appoint a committee representing various constituencies to assess police function in light of the goals and community comments. There'll be a draft of reform and reinvention plan, and we'll keep the public engaged.
La tercera fase, entonces, va a ser la creación del plan. En esta parte vamos a considerar un comité de representantes de varios constituyentes para que evalúen la función de la policía en vista de los propósitos y los comentarios de la comunidad. Vamos a preparar entonces el plan de reforma y reinvención y mantener al público involucrado.
Phase 4 will be the public comment and ratification part of the process. We'll release a draft plan for public comment, revise the plan to incorporate the public's comments, and then we'll ratify the plan officially. We need to do that before April 1st, 2021. It will implement the plan and communicate progress reports and metrics to the public.
La cuarta fase va a ser entonces abierta al comentario público y ratificación. En esa fase entonces vamos a compartir el plan y para que el comentario público, revisar e incorporar los comentarios del público, ratificar el plan que debe hacerse antes del 1 de abril del 2021 e implementar el plan y comunicar el progreso a los reportes métricos al público.
Public comments are welcome about the police department's role and relationship with the community, the policies and practices, strategies to reduce racial disparities and to build trust, public police transparency, oversight and accountability, training and leadership.
Los comentarios públicos son bienvenidos acerca del papel de los diferentes departamentos policiales y las relaciones con la comunidad, las políticas y prácticas, las estrategias para reducir las diferencias raciales y construir confianza, la transparencia policial, la supervisión, la contabilidad, entrenamiento y liderazgo.
We also have a dedicated email address so that we can receive police reform comments. And it's policereformcomments@ehamptonny.gov.
También tenemos un correo electrónico, una dirección de correo electrónico dedicada para que puedan mandarnos comentarios y esas se ve en la pantalla, Police Reform Comments en easthamptonny.com.
So at this point in the meeting, I'd like to, before I turn it over to Chief Sarlo to go over the policies and missions of the East Hampton Police Department and the various aspects of training. And I would just like to take a moment, and we also have our neighboring chiefs of Sag Harbor and East Hampton Village. And I want to thank all three of you and your staff for all the work you do to keep our community safe. I know these have been very difficult times with the worldwide pandemic. It's put a lot of pressure on all of us, and it was really reassuring as this pandemic broke across the South Fork that we had such professional staff and people keeping us safe and helping us through this trying time. So I just want to express my own heartfelt thanks and that of the town board and the communities that we serve.
En este punto, en la conversación que tenemos en la reunión, antes de pasar a las políticas y misiones del Departamento de Policía, tenemos aquí a los representantes del Departamento de Policía de East Hampton, de la Municipalidad de Sag Harbor, así como su alcaldesa. Quiero aprovechar este momento para agradecerles el trabajo que han hecho para mantener nuestra comunidad segura, a salvo, especialmente en estos momentos tan difíciles con la pandemia cuando se transfirió al South Fork.
And I want to thank Anna Kessler, who's doing our translations this evening. As we take public comment, if we have any Spanish-speaking folks who want to call in, we'll have your comments translated to us so that we can understand your comments or any potential concerns.
Quiero agradecerle a Ana Kessler que está traduciéndonos esta noche. Cuando nosotros entonces estemos aceptando llamadas, si hay alguien que hable español, ella va a estar traduciéndonos sus preguntas y traduciendo la respuesta.
Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Chief Michael Sarlo.
Thank you, sir.
Sin más, quiero entonces presentar al jefe Michael Sarlo.
The East Hampton Town Police Department is a New York State accredited police agency whose rules, procedures, policies, and reporting meet all mandated guidelines of the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services Accreditation Council.
El Departamento de Policía de la Municipalidad de East Hampton es una agencia acreditada por el Estado de Nueva York. Las reglas, procedimientos, políticas y reportes cumplen con los lineamientos mandados por la División de Justicia Criminal del Estado de Nueva York.
Annual compliance is provided to the state for 130 standards, and every 5 years, an assessment team visits our headquarters and spends 2 to 3 days physically inspecting our building, records and files, interviewing our officers, supervisors, and civilian support staff to ensure we are maintaining department-wide compliance with all standards.
El cumplimiento anual está proveído por los 130 estándares. En cada 5 años nosotros tenemos un equipo de evaluación que visita nuestros lugares de salones y pasa 2 a 3 días físicamente inspeccionando nuestros edificios, nuestros récords, nuestros archivos, entrevistando oficiales, supervisores y el apoyo civil del staff para asegurarnos que estamos manteniendo el departamento cumpliendo con dichos estándares.
As one of the first departments on Long Island to be accredited in 1990, the East Hampton Town PD has had a long-standing reputation as a leader in progressive policymaking, training, and community engagement.
Como uno de los primeros departamentos en Long Island que han sido acreditados allá en 1990, el Departamento Policial de East Hampton tiene ya una tradición de larga estancia, una reputación como líder en políticas progresivas, entrenamiento e involucramiento comunitario.
We have a proud history of community policing efforts, fair and equitable enforcement of the law, while listening to the citizens we serve, understanding their concerns, focusing on their public safety needs, and proactively communicating with key stakeholders representing all facets of our community.
Tenemos una historia larga de ayudar a los esfuerzos comunitarios, siendo justos y equitativos en el procedimiento de la ley, escuchando a los ciudadanos que servimos con sus preocupaciones, enfocándonos en la seguridad pública, las necesidades proactivas de la comunidad, de aquellas personas interesadas en la comunidad.
This focus has consistently brought about predominantly positive and productive interactions and developed a community-oriented policing model, which we are proud of.
Este enfoque consistentemente ha traído interacciones positivas y productivas y desarrollado comunidades orientadas a los modelos de policiales de los que estamos orgullosos.
I think as I move forward, I can speak for Chief McGuire and Chief Tracy and most of the rest of my comments. Most of us join this profession out of a desire to protect and serve the communities we live in. That sense of service, our view of the role of law enforcement as engaging the community on a regular basis to improve the quality of life of the entire town, and our ongoing pursuit of professionalism and accountability in our duties has created a local law enforcement culture of which we are proud.
Creo que al seguir adelante puedo hablar también por el jefe Maguire y por todos los jefes comentando que la mayor parte de nosotros aquí en esta profesión nos unimos a ella en el deseo de proteger y servir a la comunidad en la que vivimos. Ese sentido de servicio, nuestra vista en el papel de la fuerza de la ley, significa que nos involucramos con la comunidad de forma regular para mejorar la calidad de vida de la comunidad completa y siguiendo con nuestro profesionalismo y dependencia de las necesidades creadas en los departamentos locales de la comunidad.
As this collaborative process seeks to clarify the role and function of our police departments, it is important to first understand where we currently stand.
Como este proceso colaborativo busca clarificar el papel y la función de nuestro departamento, es importante entonces que entendamos en dónde estamos en este momento.
It is important to understand the primary functions we serve in our duties. The main roles we serve break down into three general categories.
Es importante entonces entender nuestros tres papeles más importantes de nuestras labores. Se pueden dividir entonces en tres partes importantes.
Emergency response to accidents, aided cases, alarms, and the like. Quality of life issues such as noise, parking, traffic, and civil disputes. And ultimately, criminal investigative functions for penal law offenses.
Respuesta de emergencia, cuando estamos entonces respondiendo a emergencias de calidad de vida, por ejemplo, con preocupaciones de sonido y de ruido, y últimamente asegurarnos de la seguridad pública.
The majority of crime in East Hampton.
Oh, sorry. That's it. I was on.
Okay. The majority of crime in East Hampton is personal property crime, and the majority of our safety functions involve our roadways and vehicles. About half of our overall arrests result from traffic infractions.
La mayoría del crimen en East Hampton son crímenes a la propiedad, infracciones de tráfico. La mayoría de los arrestos tienen que ver con infracciones de tráfico.
We are tasked with a great many functions and handle numerous mental health crises, domestic disputes, substance abuse related calls. Our officers are jack of all trades, first responders, investigators, counselors, conflict resolvers, and community social workers.
Nosotros tenemos labores de diferentes funciones. Nuestros oficiales entonces son 1000 usos. Tenemos entonces funciones de ayuda, de salud de crisis, de salud mental, disputas domésticas, de abuso de sustancias. Nuestros oficiales entonces son primeros respondientes de emergencia, investigadores, consejeros, resolutores de conflicto y trabajadores sociales de la comunidad.
While at the same time, always being prepared and ready to drop everything to respond to a plane crash or a double homicide. We expand a great deal of resources, ensuring our officers receive the most up-to-date and pertinent training available every year.
Al mismo tiempo, entonces, estamos siempre pendientes para responder ya sea a un accidente de aviación como a un homicidio. Nuestros oficiales, entonces, todo el año están pendientes para determinar y para proteger a la comunidad.
Our community policing efforts include a school resource officer and a DARE program, interacting and teaching safety issues to the school children, community crime prevention program, teaching seniors about cybersecurity, identity theft, and home safety, and community outreach for bicycle safety, traffic safety, cyber crimes, immigration enforcement issues, and opioid abuse awareness programs, including participation in the town Adolescent Mental Health and Substance Use Task Force.
Nuestros esfuerzos comunitarios para la seguridad de la comunidad incluyen entonces los oficiales de recursos escolares y el programa de DARE, interactuando y enseñando los problemas de seguridad a nuestros niños que van a la escuela, prevención de crimen en la comunidad, enseñándole a los mayores de edad acerca de seguridad de Internet, el robo de identidad y seguridad del hogar. Acercándonos a la comunidad para determinar seguridad en bicicletas, tráfico, crímenes de ciberespacio y crímenes de problemas migratorios y el abuso de sustancias y de drogas.
We also have a child safety seat and drug take-back program, as well as liaison with the Anti-Bias Task Force, participation with civic groups, clergy, OLA, the local ACLU, Group for Good Government, citizens advisory groups, and chambers of commerce. To say we are actively engaged with our community would be an understatement.
También tenemos un programa de seguridad, de asientos de seguridad infantiles, el programa de recibir de vuelta drogas y medicinas peligrosas, también vínculos comunitarios con la fuerza en contra de los prejuicios, participación en grupos civiles como el clérigo o la ACLU local, los grupos de buen gobierno, consejeros de ciudadanos y también las cámaras de comercio. Para decir que estamos activamente involucrados con la comunidad, eso sería realmente un desatendimiento.
Regarding our relationships with the community, the thank you notes and letters we regularly receive commending our officers' selfless, compassionate, and skillful performance of their duties are overwhelming.
Concerniente entonces a las preocupaciones de la comunidad, las cartas y la información que recibimos agradeciéndonos el involucramiento con la comunidad y de nuestros oficiales también nos hace sentir emocionados.
The extraordinary acts range from performing CPR, administering Narcan to an overdose victim, rescuing someone trapped in a burning vehicle or who has fallen through the ice on the bay, to locating a missing child, compassionately helping a family through a tragic loss, solving a theft and recovering a cherished possession, helping an elderly victim of fraud, or bringing to justice a sexual predator and providing closure for a victim and their family.
I'm sorry, Chief, but I lost that paragraph and what you sent me.
Page 3, towards the bottom.
Page 1, page 2, page. Well, for some reason, the one that you sent me didn't have that. The one
Let me screen share it.
Yeah, because I don't have that one. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Let me see if I can screen share it.
I think, Peter, I might have edited the original and you might have sent the original. So.
Okay. Okay, is this the previous version then?
Yes.
Okay.
Original draft. Okay.
But you can read it again slowly, and then I'll do it. Okay.
You know
yeah.
I will move on a little bit and just read a little slower in the next paragraph. It's basically the same thing. So, okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't have that.
No worries. The list goes on and on. However, it is also the recognition of the little extra effort in the day-to-day tasks which really highlight our officers' approach to the job.
La lista continúa, pero también es el reconocimiento de nuestros oficiales, el ejecutando las pequeñas tareas día a día, lo que es importante para el trabajo.
They go above and beyond just to help people, not out of any law enforcement duty, but from a personal sense of commitment and respect for the people we serve. And this is indicative of our department culture.
Ellos van más allá para ayudar a las personas, no porque es el trabajo, sino por el sentimiento de que es su necesidad. Ellos están haciendo eso porque disfrutan ayudar al público.
We are proud of our departments, our officers, and the relationship we have forged with our community.
Estamos orgullosos de nuestros oficiales, nuestros departamentos y las relaciones que hemos forjado con la comunidad.
Having said all of this, we fully understand the constant evolution of policing and the need to maintain open lines of communication with the community and to continually listen to the concerns and issues they may have with law enforcement.
Habiendo dicho esto, entendemos completamente la evolución constante de las fuerzas de seguridad y entendemos que tenemos que tener una comunicación abierta con los medios de comunidad para seguir haciendo nuestro trabajo.
We are not perfect, and there is always room to grow. The national issues surrounding criminal justice, policing, race relations, use of force, and trust of law enforcement have been at the forefront this year.
No somos perfectos y siempre podemos mejorar. Los problemas nacionales relacionados con justicia criminal, problemas migratorios, justicia racial, nos han afectado este año.
Despite our efforts and focus as local police agencies, we recognize not every interaction goes well, and during conflicts or arrests, there are concerns and questions regarding policy and ultimately the actions of our officers.
A pesar de nuestros esfuerzos y el enfoque en nuestra comunidad, reconocemos que hay errores y también en los múltiples casos pudieran haber momentos en que tanto los miembros de la comunidad como los oficiales pueden estar a falta.
Traffic stops in particular can lead to high-level safety issues for our officers, while also creating stress and tension for members of the public. This is an area we must continue to work together on to improve. Training and constant evaluation of circumstances and policies are important in addressing those situations.
Detenciones de tráfico en particular pueden ser bastante riesgosas para nuestros oficiales y también de crear bastante ansiedad en los miembros de la comunidad. Prácticas especiales para poder atender estos casos son importantes.
The images of traffic stops gone bad across the country weigh heavily on both the officers and the public.
Las imágenes de detenciones de tráfico que han resultado mal pesan mucho tanto en nuestros oficiales como en el público.
We should note, with over 25,000 interactions with the public by our 65 officers each year, we average 5 incidents of use of force and less than 2 civilian complaints per year, while our officers also suffer significant injuries resulting from combative and resistant defendants each year.
Debemos de notar que de más de 25,000 interacciones con el miembro del público con respecto a tráfico por nuestros 65 oficiales, solo tenemos un promedio de 5 incidentes de fuerza y 2 quejas civiles. Sin embargo, nuestros oficiales también son atacados o lastimados o sufren severamente por este trabajo.
Despite all of the training and efforts to use the least amount of force possible, the dangers of street encounters with intoxicated, combative, or emotionally disturbed individuals remains a very real risk to our police officers. Policing go ahead.
A pesar de todo el entrenamiento y el esfuerzo de nuestros oficiales, los riesgos de la interacción con personas que están embriagadas o drogadas pues manifiestan un problema para nuestros oficiales de seguridad.
Policing remains a very difficult, challenging, and dangerous profession.
La seguridad pública permanece como una profesión peligrosa que también es difícil de manipular.
The data we share and the results and the feedback from the community should all be considered as a baseline as we move forward in this collaborative evaluation process.
La información que nosotros compartimos y los resultados que ve la comunidad deberían de ser importantes para ese proceso comunicativo.
The governor has issued this executive order requiring all municipal police departments to work through this collaborative process of formal engagement and evaluation of the role and mission of the local police departments and develop a plan for policy and procedures and actions which can further the trust, understanding, and acceptance of our department by the community.
El gobernador entonces dio una orden ejecutiva requiriendo todas las policías, las fuerzas de policía municipal y los departamentos que trabajaban en este proceso colaborativo para poder determinar involucramientos formales para la evaluación del papel y la misión de los departamentos de policía local y desarrollar un plan de políticas y procedimientos y acciones que pudieran entonces aumentar la confianza, el entendimiento y la aceptación de los departamentos de la comunidad.
We embrace this process and will begin tonight by listening closely to any issues raised by the community and look forward to working with the town board members and the village boards and the community committees which will be formed in the near future. We thank you and we look forward to this process.
Nosotros entonces damos bienvenido a este proceso. Comenzamos esta noche escuchando firmemente a los problemas levantados por la comunidad y esperamos trabajar con los miembros de los consejos municipales y los comités de comunidad para ser formados en el futuro próximo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And as the Chief said, this is really just the beginning of our engagement directly with the public. We will look forward to hearing from the public either tonight by phone, and I believe Mike from LTV has that number posted, so we can take calls and comments this evening. Or if you like, you can email us, and I can, let's see, find that email. It's the police reform comments, ehamptonny.gov. And we'll post that on it's on our website right now at ehamptonny.
Gracias, jefe. Y como dijo él, este solo es el comienzo. Entonces vamos a comenzar esta noche recibiendo llamadas para que compartan con nosotros inquietudes y preguntas que tengan acerca del proceso policial. Pueden llamarnos esta noche o pueden también mandarnos un mensaje electrónico. Está en nuestra página de web y está la dirección también en la pantalla. Police Reform Comments at East Hampton NY.
Thank you. And Michael, do we have any callers on the line?
Gracias. Michael, ¿hay alguna llamada en línea?
We do not have any current callers on the line.
Okay, I want to take this opportunity again to thank Mayor Mulcahy from Sag Harbor for joining us and being involved with this collaborative process, as well as we have the chiefs from East Hampton Village, Chief Mike Tracy and Chief Austin McGuire from Sag Harbor, who along with our police department and Chief Sarlo will help us move forward and engage the public in this ongoing discussion.
Thank you, Supervisor, for inviting us. We appreciate being part of this.
Pleasure to have you.
Yes, thank you, Town Board. I really appreciate being included in this. And as always, Mike Sarlo, nice job. And I don't think I could have said it any better.
Thanks, Ethan.
So at this point in the meeting, I'm going to leave the police reform comments at ehampton.gov up for a few more moments. And we'll wait to see if any callers call in to give us comments, concerns, or whatnot about policing in our jurisdictions here. But we also have some other town business to take care of this evening. We have a few resolutions to do. So while we're waiting to see if we get any callers, I'd like to move forward with some of the resolutions. And I believe Councilwoman Kathy Burke Gonzalez has the first resolution.
Sure.
Question: Do you want that interpreted or no?
No, that won't be necessary. Thank you again, Anna Kessler, for translating for us this evening.
Well, I'll be here in case somebody calls and needs interpreter.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr.
Okay, so
Supervisor, if I can just interrupt, we did just get one caller this moment, if you want to take that first.
Perfect. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, I am going to unmute the next caller in queue right now.
Good evening, caller.
Peter and everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, who's calling,
Hello?
please?
It's Richard Whalen, Peter.
Hey, Richard, how are you?
Good. I just wanted to comment on, I'm watching the program and I would like to offer some comments.
Absolutely.
As probably most of you know, my wife Janice passed away a few years ago. She suffered from schizophrenia, and one of the challenges that our police officers face out here is, as with all police departments, I think, is dealing with people sometimes who have mental problems, who have, episodes and so forth. And unfortunately, I was in that position one time several years ago, and I had to call the town police to my house. And, it was a very difficult evening for me, but the town police were the people the officers who came to my house and dealt with Janice and brought her to the hospital were very, very professional. I spoke with a couple of them afterwards, and I actually wrote a letter to the town police chief and the department and thank them. My interaction in that case was, we have a very good police department. I had spoken with Janice. Before I knew her, and I think it was 2008. She also had an episode where the town police had to be called. She told me, years later, she told me they were very kind to her. They seemed to understand what was going on. That, she was out of it. She wasn't violent, but she was having a psychotic episode. They had to put her in a police car. They did not handcuff her. They treated her very well. So, my experience personally, and it's unfortunate that I even had to deal with this, but, what I'd like to, just say is, we all know about the issues nationally with police departments and racial issues and so forth, but one of the other main issues, and we've seen some of this on television, is police dealing with people who have mental disturbances, and they don't always handle it very well. I think in East Hampton, based on my experience, the police, they do know how to do that, and I hope that they will continue to do that. I think the way to, police to be able to deal with people who are suffering from a mental defect or mental disturbance, you need officers who have empathy, who are patient. They need training. They need to be able to deal with those situations. And I'm, first of all, I'd just like to say that I'm proud of our police department. Again, based on my own experiences, they're a very highly professional unit. And obviously, I want that to continue. And I think the way to continue that is through good leadership at the top, through training, and through looking to hire people who have the right skills and the right temperament to be a police officer, and have the, as I said, the temper to deal with sometimes very difficult situations with people who are not in control of themselves. They're having a mental episode, and they're not in control. And you have to be able to have the patience and the training to deal with that. So I just wanted to pass that along. I think it's obviously one of the most important things that all local police should be prepared for, to deal with people who have schizophrenia or other similar mental illnesses, and you're going to have to, treat them with respect. They're not in control of the faculties when you have these incidents, and I hope that, the town police will do as well in the future as they have in the past. That's really all I wanted to add.
Rick, thank you so much for taking the time to call us tonight and give us your very personal experiences related. And, I am quite proud to hear that the outcome of those interactions was positive on whole. And again, I think, we will need to continue to try to hold that high standard. And again, our condolences to you as well.
All right, I know you guys will. I know our police will continue to behave to the highest level. So thank you for listening to me, and have a good night.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling, Rick. Mike, do we have any other callers on the line?
No, we do not at this time.
Okay, so we'll continue to take callers as they come in. In the meantime, I'd like to again move forward with resolutions that we have to offer. Kathy, if you have the first.
I do. It's Resolution 2020-1001. It's to approve publications for Drug Take Back Day newspaper effort. We had a Drug Take Back Day on Saturday, October 24th. It was so successful that we want to do another one on Saturday, November 7th from 10 to 2 at East Hampton Town Hall. And we're looking to allocate $1,640 so that we can run quarter-page ads in English and Spanish in the East Hampton Star, East Hampton Press, and Sag Harbor Express.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
I'd like to offer Resolution 2020-1002. This is 395 Panico Road. Authorize emergency measures under Section 102-22 unsafe buildings, whereas the town board previously authorized by duly adopted resolution the purchase acquisition property at 395 Panico Road, whereas the building inspector is determined
I'm working. Hold on.
pursuant to determined.
Okay. You were supposed to send me the money back today.
I'm sorry, Anna.
And you got to mute.
I just
Yeah,
muted
thank
that.
you.
I just muted that.
Sounds good. I'm going to restart that. I'd like to offer Resolution 2020-1002. 395 Panico Road, authorize emergency measures under Section 102-22 unsafe buildings, where the town board authorized the acquisition of this property under Resolution 2019-1361, whereas the building inspector has determined pursuant to Town Code Section 102.18.1 that the structure located at 395 Panago Road is unsafe and uninhabitable because it is unmaintained and unsanitary. And whereas the East Hampton Town Code Section 102-22, the town board may authorize appropriate actions and proceedings at law or equity to correct or abate a violation or to prevent illegal occupancy of a building, structure, or premises. Now, therefore, that the town attorney, with assistance from the building inspector and other such departments, may require assistance from and take all appropriate actions to correct or abate ongoing violations and prevent the illegal occupancy or use of the premises at 395 Panago Road, East Hampton.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
I'd like to offer Resolution 2020-1003. This is amend Resolution 2020-974 for the correct fund line. This would be for the solicited bids for piling replacements at various locations for the town for 2020. The bid number was EH 20-034. Hereby that Keith Grimes is the lowest bidder for the total lump sum of $49,815 to be taken from capital budget line HA 3125.52.602.19038.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 2020-1004 is accept a parcel pursuant to the Long Island Workforce Housing Act. The town board issued a final subdivision approval. The town planning board issued the final subdivision approval to 55 Wainscott Hollow LLC for a subdivision of property at Wainscott Hollow Road. The subject conditions were number 22 of the final subdivision. Provides that the town shall be provided with title to a buildable parcel within the Wainscott School District for affordable housing purposes in a manner consistent with the Long Island Workforce Housing Act. And wherefore the town has a deed dated October 8th, 2020, and accompanied by necessary transfer documents for recording. The premises is at 3 Knoll Lane in Wainscott. And the town hereby accepts the title to the premises described as 3 Knoll Lane in Wainscott pursuant to Long Island Workforce Housing Act for purposes of developing the premises for affordable housing or for resale, with the proceeds of the sale going towards affordable housing in a manner consistent with the town code of the town of East Hampton.
Second. Do we have a second?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 2020-1005 is a budget modification. We're moving money from the budget of the assessor's office from an account for travel in the amount of $1,900 to an account for furniture and fixtures in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 2020-1006 is to authorize payment for a 2019 translation services for Anna Kessler in the amount of $200.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried. 1007 is to authorize payment for translation services to Anna Kessler for this evening's work. And we thank you, Anna, and that's in the amount of $225.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 2020-1008 is budget modification, dental and optical. And this is moving from health insurance line in the amount of $1,900 to dental and optical. Another health insurance amount of $170 to dental and optical, $120 from health insurance to dental and optical, and $1,500 from health insurance to dental and optical.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 2021-009 is to approve agreement, Manor House Condominiums, whereas Town of East Hampton has contracted with J&S Contracting LLC for the construction of an affordable housing condominium development, Occobonac Road, East Hampton, also known as the Manor House Condominium, whereas certain additional work is required in order to complete the units and to make the same habitable for occupancy. whereas the town and the contractor have come to an agreement with regard to the additional work required in resolving any remaining issues between the parties with regard to such construction. Now therefore be it resolved that Town Board of East Hampton hereby approves the agreement with J&S Contracting LLC and authorizes the supervisor to sign the same on behalf of the town of East Hampton.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. That concludes the resolutions that we have for this evening. Michael, do we have any callers on the line?
We do not have any callers on the line.
Okay. At this point, I think we'll work on concluding the meeting. And again, I want to thank Sag Harbor Village, the mayor, chief of police, East Hampton Village chief, for joining us this evening in this beginning discussion about police reform and reinvention. This will be an ongoing public discussion and engagement. And while we very much support and are thankful for our police departments, we know that with any organization, there's always room for improvement, and there's also the need to remain vigilant in providing the best possible services to the public. Again, I thank you all for joining us this evening, and I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close.
All in favor?
Second. Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Stay safe, be well.
Thank you again. Nice to
Good
see
night.
everybody.
Thank you again.